Hello, 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 everyone. Good morning. Happy Thursday. Welcome to the Communication Blueprint. I'm your host, Ashley Bright. We are streaming live on LinkedIn and YouTube. So, for those of you that don't know, this live is a companion to my just recently launched, as of yesterday, newsletter, The Communication Blueprint. The newsletter itself is available through LinkedIn if you subscribe, or through my new Patreon, which there's links somewhere. If you're not sure, we'll get it sorted out. So, what is my goal with this whole thing? Well, my goal is to empower you. So, whether you're stepping on stage, you're walking into a meeting, you're getting in front of the camera, I want you to have access to actionable strategies and insights that can help you transform that fear into confidence and words into action. That's my goal. I want to empower you. Okay. I want to help as many people as possible learn how to become powerful, confident communicators. And so, with that in mind, I'd appreciate if you could share this with your friends. If you're watching on YouTube, please hit subscribe, leave a comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts and hear what's working and what isn't and how I can make this better. Another thing I'd like to do right now is give a big shout out to our sponsor, Opus Clip. If you are not familiar with Opus Clip, check them out. They are amazing. They use AI technology to essentially turn long form videos into short, digestible elements that you can share on social media. They do all the captioning. It's automated. It's super, super simple. Saves you so much time. And so if you're interested, I recommend checking them out and use the code TheMessageFixer30 to get 30% off. All right, let's get into it today. So this show is going to be a deep dive into the latest topic of the newsletter, which is overcoming fear of public speaking. That is a big topic. Am I right? Am I right? Who out there gets scared at the prospect of getting on stage, getting in front of an audience, standing up in front of a meeting? Raise your hands. I know you're out there because I know we all feel this. Okay? And that's the thing. Feeling that fear, feeling that anxiety, that is absolutely normal. So welcome to the club, everyone. You are a human being. Okay? That is what it's all about. It's called fight or flight. It's part of who we are. It's in our DNA. It's in our nature as human beings. We want to survive. And so that's what's going on. So you are absolutely entitled to that. It is completely normal, my friends. Do not beat yourself up. Okay. Now, when we see someone who goes up on stage, gets up in front of the camera, and they do a great job, it's not talent. Okay. It's about practice. Okay. I say this many times in my workshops. Practice, practice, practice. Okay. That's what it takes to learn how to be confident, how to command a room, how to walk up on a stage. Okay. Sure. We all have a natural charisma. Some of us are a little more comfortable in that situation than others. But I guarantee you, everyone that you see doing a good job of public speaking, communicating, leading rooms, they have done it through practice, practice, practice. Because with anything, when you practice, you get better. And when you get better, you get more confident. And that's what it's all about. People respond to the confidence that's being shared. And so that's what's critical, because confidence will allow you to start achieving your goals, both professionally and personally, and it allows you to essentially activate that superpower that we all have inside. Okay, we all have that inside us to be more confident and be commanding and get up on stage. So I'm looking at comments here. Thank you for those chiming in and watching. I appreciate that. I'm reading a comment here. I feel like the anxiety surrounding public speaking leads to better preparation. Absolutely. Absolutely. I just said practice, practice, practice. Well, I heard a number of years ago, colleague of mine, public speaker, author, and he said that he uses that anxiety that he feels about the fear of public speaking as fuel for him to prepare and prepare and practice and practice. So absolutely, okay, that is your body. It's keeping you safe. And you could argue that in the immediate moment, it's trying to keep you safe. It's got that fight or flight. It's trying to get you off stage because it's like, you're going to die. You're going to die. But really, if you tap into that, you can realize that it's actually something that you can use to prepare, to rehearse, to practice, and get more confident. Okay? The first time you do anything, it won't be great. The second time, it'll be a little bit better. And the third time, even better. Okay? So it's like anything. You have to practice, practice, practice. Now, I've touched on this a little bit, but why does this happen? Why do we feel this way? Well, the technical term is, I'm going to read it now because it doesn't roll off the tongue, but it's glossophobia. Okay, and anything that's said in Greek, it always feels a little more dramatic and heavy, but it's glossophobia. Okay, and essentially what it is it's that internal dialogue that is saying, you're going to be judged. You're going to make a mistake. People are going to see that you're an imposter. Okay, but deep down in that survival instinct, it's saying you're going to die. Get off the stage. Get out from in front of the camera. You are exposed. Okay, that's what's going on. It's our base level survival instinct that's saying, get out, get out, get out, get out. We've all felt that, right? That butterflies, the shortness of breath, the dry mouth, the face goes red, all of those things. Well, the truth of it is that you cannot, because we are human beings and it is a survival instinct, you can't eliminate it entirely. But the trick is learning how to get those butterflies to fly in formation. And it's a wonderful thought, and I'd love to take credit for it, but it's actually a quote from Edward R. Murrow, a great journalist and anchor. And he talked about that, you can't eliminate those butterflies. You can't eliminate it, but you can, through practice, through repetition, through preparation, learn to train the butterflies to fly in formation. And so that's the key. That is the trick. Okay? And so if anyone out there has questions, please put them in the chat, because this is what this is all about. I'm here to go deep dive. That's what this is, a deep dive on the content of that newsletter I just put out, the subject of that newsletter, how to overcome the fear of public speaking. And so please throw those comments in there. I'm just going to keep going. If you haven't seen it, this is the article. Okay, this is what it's all about, and this is what I want to go deep on. So, all right, so we've talked about we need to practice. Well, the thing is that your body's giving you that anxiety, that fear. Well, the fear can be fuel. As was said in a comment just a minute ago, that anxiety can help you find energy to prepare, to do better. Okay, because ultimately it comes down to a mindset. Okay, your body is giving you that energy. Okay, and you can either use the energy to be afraid and be small and basically concede all of your power to that fear, to that anxiety. Or you can see it as fuel, you can see it as excitement. Because whenever you get up in front of an audience, on stage, on camera, in front of a meeting, or like I'm doing right now on a live, it's an opportunity to demonstrate your knowledge, your expertise. You're bringing value, and you're informing and enlightening and motivating people that they need that information. That's why they're there. Okay, they want to learn. Okay, nobody is sitting there in an audience listening to you and thinking, God, I don't want to be here. This is terrible. I don't want to learn anything. Okay, instead, they're there because they want to learn something. They see value in what you have. And so taking that fear and that anxiety and shifting your mindset to, this is an opportunity. I am excited. I'm going to add value. I'm going to change lives. I'm going to impact people's career. I'm going to I'm going to bring myself forward too. I'm going to increase my influence, up level the authority that I have in this space. So when you get on the other side of that fear, there's so much value. I love this quote that everything I want is on the other side of fear. And when it comes to public speaking, absolutely, that is true. So in the article, I talked about 3 critical tips for how to overcome the anxiety, the fear of public speaking. So let's talk about that first one. Okay, so you've got those, you've done the preparation, you know what you're going to say, you're feeling comfortable, but there's still a little bit of anxiety. Well, one of the things that I like to do is have a mantra. Okay, something that you can repeat that reframes this fear and anxiety as an opportunity, as the great opportunity that it truly is. And so everyone's going to have their own mantra. I'll share mine with you right now. My mantra is this, okay? And I say this on the inhale of my breath. I say, I am awesome. And on the exhale, I say, I am stronger than my fears. And I just repeat that. I am awesome. I am stronger than my fears. I am awesome. I am stronger than my fears. And doing that will help reframe that anxiety and fear to opportunity and excitement and joy even, because you have the opportunity now to go out and share your knowledge, share your wisdom. I'm looking at one of the comments here. If you are not naturally I'm going to read this. If you are not naturally an effervescent type of person, how do you communicate excitement and inspiration? Great question. Thank you so much for that, because it's true. We all have different personalities. We all have different ways that we show up. And I've talked a lot about this in previous videos about the value and the nature of authenticity and how people respond to that. And so you don't want to go out there and pretend to be someone you're not. If you tend to be a little bit more of a thoughtful, calculated person in the way you communicate, then you don't want to go out there and be all like, yay, hey, how's it going? Blah, 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 blah. Because people will see that that's not you. That's not authentic. And so it comes down to really that it's a performance. Okay, I always talk about this. It's like what you're saying, what you're showing, your body language, your voice, it's all a performance. It doesn't matter whether you're actually up on a stage or whether you are on video or leading a meeting. There's a performance component to it. So back to the question, if you're not naturally effervescent, you're not naturally confident, how do you show that excitement and inspiration? Well, it comes through in the stories you're telling, in the information you're sharing. Okay, you don't want to go up there, and I get it. Okay, you may not be someone that wants to be all like energized. I get it. But you can't go up there and be like, hey there, how's it going? I'm going to talk to you today about this topic. It's going to be really interesting. I think it's going to be really valuable. Okay? Because people will naturally tune out. So you need to be really bringing, I said that performance, it's bringing all these pieces together. Okay, so using your voice, the inflection, the tone of your voice. You want to be kind of hitting those highs and lows. Okay, I don't know if any of you out there have watched old silent films. Okay, back in the day, there was no sound, so there was no voice. So they had to use their bodies to essentially over-animate a little bit. So look at what I'm doing here. Okay, so hey there, how's it going? My name's Ashley. Let's talk about this. Okay? Not really much going on there. So let me just use my voice. Hey everyone, how are you doing? My name is Ashley Bright, and I'm excited to be here. Okay, so just through the voice, you can feel there's a little bit more energy. Okay, now if I bring my body into it. Hey everyone, how are you doing? My name is Ashley Bright. I am so excited to be here. Okay, so just by adding in the voice, the tone, the inflection, pitch, and then my body language, already it feels more engaging, more interesting. Okay, the other part of the question was around inspiration. Okay, and that comes through in what you're talking about. This is why I'm a big proponent of sharing stories. We're going to talk about that. In fact, I think that's tip number 2 is sharing stories, because stories just by their nature will create engagement. Okay, so I hope that answered the question. Thank you so much for chiming in. Yeah, so you don't want to go out there and not be authentic to who you are, but you also don't want to go out there and be monotone and quiet, because your audience will mirror that energy. So if you just smile, use your voice, that inflection, a little bit of body language, doesn't have to be crazy, you will see that reflected back by people in the audience. All right, so let's move on. Tip number 2 that I covered in the newsletter, and I've touched on this so many times, I hope it's clear, but preparation. Okay, you want to prepare. Now, when I say that, that doesn't mean memorize your script. Okay, because we don't want you to be robotic in the way you talk, because it will not resonate. Okay, so you want to prepare, but you don't want to memorize a script, because one of the things that happens is if you memorize a script and you're following it in your head word for word, if someone asks a question, or there's a noise in the back of the room, or a phone goes off, anything that will distract you, it's going to throw you off that script. And I'm sure you've seen this, where someone's up there in front of the room or on a stage, and they're going along, and then something happens, and all of a sudden they lose their train of thought. It's because they were following a script. And so when we talk about prepare, it's not about following a script. What it is about is following an outline. Okay, and so if you're thinking about your presentation, your talk, whatever it is, you want to be thinking about it in a couple different ways. One is there's a structure to it, an outline. So you want to have a beginning, a middle, and an end, and have those 3 things really clear in your mind. Okay, how am I starting this? What's the bulk of this key information here? And then how do I end it? Just at a very high level, so you know, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that's the first thing. And then the other thing is you want to use bullet pointing for key elements of that. Okay, and so when I say that, it's like that opening might be 2 or 3 bullet points. So it might be bullet point 1, story about my uncle. Bullet point 2, key takeaway from high school. Bullet point 3, how this relates to the business. Okay, that might be it. But if you have those points in your mind and you've done the work, the rehearsing, the practicing, that's enough to keep you on track. Okay, and that's what I mean by preparation. And the key with that is that now, most importantly, you will stay on track. Okay, you won't get thrown off. You'll be logically thinking beginning, middle, end, these key points. The other thing is that it will appear and come across to your audience in a more authentic, candid way, because you're not scripted. You're not reading off an imaginary script in your head. You're present. And that's what it's all about too, is being present, reacting to people in the crowd. Someone asks a question, someone giggles, someone laughs, someone raises their hand. Okay, that's all part of that experience. Okay, so prepare, but don't be robotic with a script. Okay, the other thing is, when you are preparing, when you are rehearsing, is say it out loud. Oftentimes we're not used to our own voice sometimes. And so especially if we're in a formal presentation setting, maybe we're going to be on the microphone and you hear your voice loud on a microphone out of the speaker, that can, anxiety just goes right up. Okay, so when you are practicing, preparing, you want to be saying it out loud. This is another opportunity to address voice and pitch and your body language. Okay, I talked about this earlier. If you're not a naturally charismatic person that is like energized, when you're preparing, learn to use that voice and get comfortable with it. Say it out loud, use your body, use your hands. Okay, that will create opportunity. The other thing is be ready for surprises. Okay, to be frank, shit happens. Okay, something's going to probably happen. A phone's going to go off, a door's going to bang in the back of the room. Someone's going to say, "Oh, the slide's not working," and you're going to have to stop and adjust something. So be ready for that. And if you've done the preparation, you've done the things I just talked about, you're good to go. Okay, I wouldn't worry about it because you're going to be in your flow. You're going to be fine. Okay, and practice, practice, practice. Have I said it enough times? Practice, practice, practice. Okay. Now, tip number 3, and I've touched on this a few times, is stories. Okay. Everybody loves to hear a story. Nobody wants to hear the data dump or the report the way it's delivered, point by point by point by point by point by point by point. Am I boring you yet? Okay. So you want to be using stories because remember, we are human beings. Okay. Crazy, right? Human beings. And so human beings like stories. Stories help us connect with one another. Okay. Before we had technology, before we had any of these things, we told stories. And so just like fight or flight is part of who we are, it's built into our human DNA, storytelling is as well. Now, let's talk about what's actually going on and why stories work. Well, there's a researcher named Daniel Kahneman who wrote a book that was Think Fast and Slow. Think Fast, you'll have to look that up, but Daniel Kahneman. And he talked about research that he did where they identified that there's really 2 systems in the brain. There's system 1 and system 2. Now, system 1 operates automatically, unconsciously. That's what controls your fight or flight, your breathing, your heart rate, all of those things. Okay. And then there's system 2, which is about complexity. It's about processing information, doing math, doing your taxes, reading bullet points on a slide. That's system 2. And system 1, since it operates automatically, it doesn't want to have to work very hard. And so story and emotion tap into system 1. And so if you can lead with a great story, lead with an authentic emotion, that will pique the interest of system 1 in your listener's mind. And then if you do share data, system 2 kicks in. And because system 1 said, "Hey, this is interesting, this person's telling a great story," system 2 will go, "Hello, all right, excellent, I'm ready to do some work now." And so those 2 systems work together. Okay, so that's why story is so important. The other thing is that since stories are creating a dialogue, you're creating a 2-way conversation in the room, whether it's 1-to-1 or 1-to-many. You are creating a dialogue. Okay. Now, where do we get stories from? This is something I hear often from clients and others. "I don't have stories. Where do I get stories?" Well, you want to be collecting stories. Have an archive of stories. Okay. In our day-to-day, there's lots of moments that are stories that we could learn from. Thank you. Someone just put in the comments, Thinking Fast and Slow. That's the Daniel Kahneman book I was referring to earlier. So check that out. Got some really valuable, interesting information about how the brain works and how we process information. So collecting stories. I'm looking around here. Oh, here it is. I carry a little field guide with me all the time. It's small, slides in my pocket, and in it, I capture little stories. Okay? Just little moments in time. It could be at the grocery store. It could be dropping the kids off at school. It could be a phone call I just got off, something that happened. Okay? And you don't have to get super detailed. Okay? You're not writing a novel. Okay? Just capture the beginning, the middle, and the end. Okay? This happened, and this happened. Or even in here, I just put a few in there. I'm going to talk about this later in another call, but like, it's scary being me. Okay, that came out of a call last week, and there's something there. I collected it, I wrote it down so I don't forget. I'm not sure what it becomes yet, but there's something there. Okay, and so I recommend just carry something with you like that take note of all those little moments, those funny things. If it resonated with you, it'll resonate with other people. Okay, so collect those stories. That's key. All right, so those were the key sort of 3 tips that I provided in the newsletter. I hope those resonated. And now I want to talk about a couple sort of quick fixes. Okay, you're just about to get on stage. You're just about to walk into that important meeting, that job interview. Maybe you're about to go on a date. Okay, you're just walking into the restaurant, walking into the coffee shop. Okay, I want you to try these things and keep them in mind as a way to just, as I call, quick fixes. Okay, so the first one and the easiest one to do is remembering that your breath and your breathing is a powerful tool to help reduce the anxiety that you are feeling. And so I want you all out there to try this with me right now. Okay, it's a 4-4. Sorry, that's 2. 4-4-4 breathing technique. And so what you're going to do is breathe in for 4, hold for 4, and breathe out for 4. Okay, so do it with me. Okay, ready? Okay, let's do that again. So in, hold, release. Okay, so using that very simple technique and doing it 2, 3, 4, 5 times, however many is right for you, will bring that anxiety level down big time. Okay, and I use that all the time. I did it just before I got on this live. Okay, it just brings down that anxiety and just helps you be a little more level as you walk in. Okay, a second quick fix technique is smile and pause. You'll notice as I've been doing this today, I'm not like talking like, hey, how's it going? I'm really excited. I want to talk about this. Storytelling. It's going to be great. Public speaking. It's going to be great. Okay, that doesn't resonate. Instead, I'm very comfortable and conscious of my pauses. And I can't see any of you out there, but I'm imagining you out there. I'm smiling. I'm interacting with you as though you're right there. And so imagine you're in the room with some people presenting. You want to make eye contact. Okay, find someone in the room that's smiling, someone in the room that's engaged, and talk directly to them. I'm looking at you. And then I'm going to look over here and I'm going to tell you a key point. Okay, so always be looking for that smile in the crowd, making that one-on-one connection. And then I talked about pauses. I like to teach my clients to practice the pause when you are doing your preparation. So get really comfortable with the pause. Because not only will the pause create a dramatic impact for people, but it's also a way for you to remain at a pace that's comfortable. It will allow you to keep your thoughts clear. Because if you're talking faster than you're thinking, it's a recipe for disaster, confusion, and overwhelm. Instead, use the pause. Not sure if the pause is powerful? Let me demonstrate it right now. No, the camera's not frozen. The connection didn't drop. I'm creating a pause. Okay, so practice the pause when you are preparing. Okay, so that's a lot of what I got to share with you today. This is the first of many deep dives as part of the communication blueprint. Okay. As I said in the beginning, I want to empower you. I want to empower as many people as I can to learn how to communicate with confidence so that they inspire action. We all have value. We all have ideas that are worth sharing. And so I want to teach you how to do that effectively so that you can up-level your career. You can up-level your personal relationships. You can reach those goals and be recognized as an authority, as someone that has value to deliver each and every time. And if I haven't said it at least 20 times already, practice, practice, practice. Practice will be the antidote to panic and fear and anxiety. And so thank you so much, everyone. We're right at time, but I want to thank you all for tuning in. I really, really appreciate you spending half an hour of your day with me. If you missed this or you want to share this with someone, the replay is available on LinkedIn and YouTube. And if you liked this, if you got some value from it, please give me a thumbs up. Leave a comment on what was the most valuable or insightful thing that you took away from this. That helps both me and others that may be tuning into this later. As I said, I want to help as many people as I can, so please share this with friends. If you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe. I appreciate that. The next newsletter will be coming out in 2 weeks in conjunction with another one of the shows, and it's going to be a good one. We're going to be going deep on an important but often unspoken topic. So, for context, how many of you out there, and I know that you all have watched someone walk into a room and instantly capture everyone's attention? They speak and people listen. Well, it's not magic. It's something called executive presence. And the good news is you don't need a superpower to develop it. Okay? So tune in 2 weeks for the next The Communication Blueprint show, when we'll be talking about executive presence. And so until then, remember, my friends, don't just speak, inspire. Have a great week. We'll see you soon.